up to Polkemmet for a couple of years after we then closed down. I didn't fancy Easton. My mother and father was to test me going to Easton. But when Easton was gone, then that's when I found out they were more pleased with me going up to Polkemmet. I had an uncle, and when Easton was working, he was fed up working in the mines. So he jumped on his bike, push bike. There weren't much cars on the road then, one or two or three in between. So he cycled on his push bike and he got started in Easton. That was alright, but he never worked a full week in Easton because he was lousing early for the day shift. So he must have been up awfully early to jump on his bike and cycle. That was for Plains, the other side of Caldercrooks, but there wasn't much, as I say, there wasn't much traffic. So he got started on a Monday, and before the weekend came, he never got a week's wage or nothing. He died. He got crushed. So he walking up this walking road where he should be doing. He wanted to louse early. Well, he got a chance, but it was up to yourself. If you walked up this big steep mine, it would take you longer to get to the pit bottom. So these hutches would go direct to the pit bottom, but they was going at the same space all the time to jump on the back of a hutch and stand there, coorie down, and that was it. But somebody must have, just the same as that, you had to tighten, they had a bogey in the front of your 4 or 5 hutches, full hutches. You had to tighten it, that steel rope as much as you could to go up this mine. So he jumped on the back of a hutch to be quicker, and there were hutches further up, broke free, and down they came, hitting each other, and he was crushed to death in Easton. My Uncle John. It was many years later before I found out there wasn't anything with him for safety, more or less, but he should have went up between the hutches. He should have walked on the walking road, and had a great big long rope. Pull yourself up, well, you couldn't do nothing else with your haversack on one shoulder and pulling yourself more or less, climb yourself, but you had the rope to hold on to in case your feet went way again, slid back down again. But he jumped in between the hutches to get up the pit quicker. He never got a week's wage or nothing, and the hutches further up in front of him broke free, and they just came down towards you. They were going, well, a full hutch, bad enough for one hutch, but no 4 or 5 hutches, and they all came down, boom, 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 hitting each other, knocked the rope off, well, just slid all the weft and everything. No, he was crushed to death. Before Easton closed down, I minded that section, and on my last day in Easton, the pit was finished, but they kept half a dozen years back, instead of sending us to Polkemmet. They kept half a dozen years back, 2 or 3 was getting paid off, and that was him. Just more or less tidy the place up and keep it going. but I got daffodils in this section where my uncle died was on the other side of the pit, the other side of the shanks, where the Hutchins goes up and down. I kept where it was, my father told me. And the last day I got daffodils, a bunch of daffodils, and I laid them, well, before the day off, but more or less kept a wee bit of respect. Just, that's the last time I'll ever see you again, or where the section was, ken. So I just laid the daffodils. Tell the gaffer, aye, it's alright, take down the daffodils. And I laid them in front of it was all sealed up, but you could still see where, oh, he died away down there, down the mine, but that was the road towards where he died, so I just laid them. And then we all went on to the cage for the very, very last time to come up the cage.